When it came to various issues that Republicans are against here in the United States, remember what Trump promised when he was on the campaign trail? If you don't, take a quick look.
You are going to be so proud of your country because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
I mean, maybe Trump's administration is winning so much that the American people and Congress have already decided no more winning. In fact, they have canceled the vote, the House vote on the American Health Care Act. Of course, this is the proposal to replace Obamacare. They didn't have enough votes, so they decided to boom, cancel the vote altogether.
You know, it's an interesting theory by Anna. Everybody else in the country is viewing it as a giant loss, but maybe he just got tired of winning already.
Yeah, they're just tired of winning. That's what happened.
He said he did predict that there would be a point where we would get tired of winning. Apparently, it was yesterday, and today we just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, it was the victory off the fresh off that Mike Flynn victory.
So, of course, none of the Democrats in Congress were going to support the replacement for Obamacare. However, there were a number of Republicans in Congress that did not want to support it, specifically in the House. And some argued that the replacement wasn't conservative enough, meaning that it gave too many entitlements and handouts to the middle class. And then some argued, it didn't cover my constituents enough, and this would be political suicide if I voted in favor of it. So as a result, they decided, okay, let's just cancel the vote because it's probably not gonna pass and it's gonna look really, really bad. But keep in mind that Trump was pressuring Congress to go forward with the vote nonetheless. He's like, no more changes, no more negotiating. I want the vote to take place today, but it ended up getting canceled anyway. So let's hear from Paul Ryan, who's very disappointed about what happened.
Moving from an opposition party to a governing party comes with growing pains. And well, we're feeling those growing pains today. We came really close today, but we came up short. I spoke to the president just a little while ago, and I told him that the best thing I think to do is to pull this bill, and he agreed with that decision. I will not sugarcoat this. This is a disappointing day for us. Doing big things is hard. All of us, myself included, we will need time to reflect on how we got to this moment, what we could have done to do it better. But ultimately, this all kind of comes down to a choice. Are all of us willing to give a little to get something done? Are we willing to say yes to the good, to the very good, even if it's not the perfect? I'm really proud of the bill that we produced. It would make a dramatic improvement in our healthcare system and provide relief by people hurting under Obamacare. The president gave his all in this effort. He did everything he possibly could to help people see the opportunity that we have with this bill. He's really been fantastic. Still, we got to do better, and we will. I absolutely believe that. This is a setback, no two ways about it. But it is not the end of the story, because I know that every man and woman in this conference is now motivated more than ever to step up our game, to deliver on our promises. I know that everyone is committed to seizing this incredible opportunity that we have, and I sure am.
Wow. Okay, so I love seeing the Republicans, one saying, doing big things is hard. Oh, really? Oh, really? And during the 8 years of Obama, they're like, oh yeah, why don't you just get it done? And then I think a lot of the media would go along with it. Why don't you just have a beer summit and get it done? You know, why didn't they have a beer summit with the Freedom Caucus? Why didn't they golf with them? I mean, it's not like Trump doesn't golf, and we hear golf games are very important to the nation. So why didn't you get it done? Where's your iced tea summit? How come you didn't do any of that? And now come to find out, oh, in order to legislate, you need compromise. And even internally, they will not compromise. So the result of that is failure.
Yes, actually, I want to read a quote to you because I think that this is very symbolic, or indicative at least, of what's happening in Congress right now among Republicans. Let's go to graphic 2. This is a quote from Representative Chris Collins, a Republican. He says, there's some divisive divisiveness within our conference now that's not healthy. I've never seen this before. People are just refusing to talk to each other. They're storming past each other. This is not good.
Chris Collins was the first member of Congress to back Trump. He was the first endorser of Donald Trump, for a long time the only one in Congress. And yeah, that's a telling thing. So you see this fracture, and you know what? You see Paul Ryan standing there. But by the grace of the Freedom Caucus goes he, because he was a Freedom Caucus away from not being Speaker. So when you see this divisiveness that we talked about within the party, that Collins just talked about there, within the Republican Party, was there before they held the Congress, won the White House, and held the Senate. And it was a question mark going in as to what is the Republican Party going to do about the divisions and the fractures within it. And it was all laid bare again here. After their little happy days of elections and inaugurations, they're back to having the exact same problems that they went into last fall with. And you're seeing it now, and you're seeing it on what was supposed to be a signature piece of legislation. Donald Trump, and we're going to get to this later, said today that he never said it was going to be the first thing he did. He said Inauguration Day, he might call a special session just to do Obamacare, repeal and replace. And this is a big loss.
And Ryan today admitted later in the day, quote, "We're going to be living with Obamacare for the foreseeable future." So what now? Okay, so and it's interesting, this battle was a little bit between Donald Trump and the Koch brothers, because the Koch brothers literally put out a statement saying, we will spend millions of dollars to defeat anyone who votes yes or support anyone who votes no. So those Republican donors came in and said it's either our money or Donald Trump. And that is a fascinating development. Now, Trump is not the good guy here. This bill was already draconian, and he made concessions to the Freedom Caucus, made it deeply draconian, right? But still the Koch brothers, foaming at the mouth, were like, not enough. And they demanded through their bribes that the Freedom Caucus vote no. And no matter how many concessions they got, they still wanted to vote no, and hence they couldn't get a deal. And now Obamacare remains. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Koch brothers change their strategy, or do they secretly want Obamacare to stay in place? I mean, if they didn't and they really wanted to repeal it, this was a curious way of showing it.
Well, if empty rhetoric could get that bill passed, I think they'd get it passed, because Paul Ryan was really flinging it there for a while. We've done great work. We got to be better. We're going to be better. It's a great opportunity and all that stuff. And do you know the kind of stuff that the Freedom Caucus is upset about? They want to get rid of the individual. They want to get rid of pre-existing condition coverage. They want to get rid of that. Like, I don't know. Why don't you just could there be a more unpopular thing that you could do? What do they think they're going to get out of that? And why would they do? So this is the kind of thing, so it's fun to see them have to govern. And this is what Barack Obama kept talking about. Oh, the fever's going to break. They can't even compromise with each other. They're not going to compromise with Barack Obama. So it is fun to see. I can't believe, do people know that's why they can't get it passed? Because they want to get rid of pre-existing condition coverage and stuff like that the Senate knows is unpopular.
So I like that you asked that question. I think Republicans looked at the issue of repealing and replacing Obamacare as a layup. I think they thought it was going to be an easy thing to do politically, but it's actually one of the most difficult things to do politically, because you have two different groups at odds, right? You have your constituents who now know what it's like to not have to worry about pre-existing conditions, to have certain protections under Obamacare, to have Medicaid expansion under Obamacare. They like it. They don't want to get rid of it, which is why you saw all those angry town halls, right? So you have that group, and then you have the Koch brothers groups, right? Who think, no, this replacement idea is too liberal, it gives away too much, and we don't like it. So it's political suicide in one of two ways, right? Either you piss off your constituents or you piss off your donors. I love it, it's so good.
Yeah, and so there's two things that come out of that are super important. First of all, guys, there's no magic. So Trump said, don't worry, there's magic. Somehow, because I'm such a great deal maker, I can get the moderate Republicans who will lose their seats if they vote to get rid of things like pre-existing condition coverage to agree with conservative Republicans who want to get rid of all of that and more, right? So, but there is no way to actually walk that line. There's no magic. They don't agree, and if they don't agree, you're not going to win. And so now if you were under that illusion, you should be dispelled of that illusion. And So go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, one thing that I think when you talk about that and listening to what Anna's saying, one thing that's being overlooked here, and people are talking about it. People said to me, well, the president's approval rating is at 37%, but what does that matter? He's scheduled to be in office till 2021. Who cares what his approval rating is now? Yeah, it's not good, but we sort of knew it wouldn't be good. It mattered today. It mattered when Republicans see their president, who was unpopular with a lot of them to begin with, at 37%. There's less fear in not going along with the White House and the way that Congresses work, the way that they see this stuff. So it does matter, because that's the blood in the water that we've said we'd be smelling eventually, was an unpopular president that these congressional Republicans could run away from. I think it's going to happen in the Senate too, and it would have been interesting if the AHC had passed today, because it would have gone to the Senate, where it would have been much more caustic and much more, I guess, observable, the way that the Republicans behaved around this. So I don't think people should overlook the president's popularity or lack of popularity. That 37% number is really important in what happened.
That's right. I got to say two things about that, because when the Koch brothers threatened the millions of dollars, if Trump's sitting at 60% approval rating, they think, well, maybe I lose my seat if I cross Trump. I'm going to forego the millions of dollars or risk the money being spent against me because I don't dare cross Donald Trump. Right. But if he's at 37% approval rating, you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'd rather take the Koch brothers' money rather than deal with you, and I could live with that. So that's why. And then it becomes a vicious cycle for Trump, because as we showed you in the beginning, he promised nothing but winning. Now, and that's why a lot of people voted for him. This guy's a businessman, he's successful, he knows how to win. He knows how to make deals. Now, when they see, oh, no, it turns out he was full of crap. He doesn't know how to make deals and he doesn't win, then his popularity could slip further, and then he has less leverage and makes the next deal even harder to make. And then the other thing is the ignorance of the American people. And again, I'm with you guys, and I'm not blaming you for it. I'm mainly blaming television for it. But you don't know what's going on here in terms of policy, and I'm saying it obviously on a macro scale. Because 83% of the American people want to keep Obamacare's expansion of Medicaid. I can give you dozens of numbers. I'll just give you that one to focus on for a second. The 83% on any topic is an unbelievably high approval rating. And I mean, that means that it is untouchable in politics. But when you're asked, do you want to get rid of Obamacare? A lot of you said yes. Those two things don't make sense. You can't get rid of Obamacare and keep Obamacare's Medicaid expansion. You can't do it. So you told the Republicans, I hate Obamacare, get rid of it. And then you told them, well, don't. I love the Medicaid expansion. I love covering pre-existing conditions. I love covering kids under their parents until the age of 26. I love 18 different provisions in here. So you put them in an untenable position, and there is no magic. So Donald Trump lost today, Paul Ryan lost today, but if you're a Republican voter, it was your fault. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together, we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazile story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. tytnetwork.com/join.